We wanted to show you guys what 1 year of living full time with 3 kids, us, and the dog can do to a trailer.
Welcome back to NOP. I'm Kristen.
I'm John.
And we are No Ordinary Path. We have just wrapped up an entire year of full timing in our RV while John travel nurses.
Launch day!
It's launch day! No, we're not done, but we are taking a minute to do a series of all of the things that we experienced over the last year that maybe could help you if you are starting out your own RV adventure.
That's right. It's about journeying with your family in the RV, whether or not you're a travel nurse or any kind of other travel professional, or if you just have the means to be able to get out and do an extended type of road trip. We're here today to basically talk about all the things that Wendy has gone through in the last year. She's 2018, but she was brand new. No one else had ever owned her. We're brand new owners of that trailer.
We were curious when we got started, like, how much damage are we actually going to do to this RV? We've had some pretty great luck, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are definitely horror stories out there of people that get in a rig and they have all kinds of problems in the first 3 months and then they're done RV.
Right. You know, we did our diligence in terms of what we were looking for in buying this trailer, and there's a whole video that goes into it up here you can check out. But basically... Anyway, up here. So we did a lot in terms of searching for brands that could kind of hold up to what, you know, I knew we would kind of...
To that.
It's banging. We're going to show you how she's held up. It's a trailer. It's going to get some rock hash and rock damage and stuff like that to it. So that's one of the things right off the bat that you start to notice cleaning it and washing it. But yeah, there's just little rock chips and stuff in the fiberglass kind of all over. This is just aluminum that goes along the trailer body, and in a lot of places, especially the slides, there's areas where it kind of connects to things, and there's just little screws and bolts that connect these together. And they come loose. See it right there. That's a super easy fix I'm going to do later.
Another minor cosmetic-y thing is this is our basement here. It's where we keep our hitch, and you can see like the metal here is kind of all crooked,
banged up.
The weather stripping is coming off a little bit, and we kind of pry it back to make it straight again, just from all of the constant like in and out of the heavier items.
All right. Confessions here. So I like to boondock. Sometimes you take the rig out to, farther to reach places
that other people are afraid to go to.
That's right.
But we aren't afraid to go to them.
We are not afraid to go to them, and I will continue to do so. I haven't ever had any significant damage, but recently I may have clipped a tree. This is supposed to have a nice little orange cap over it. It will get replaced. Yeah, that was a casualty. You could see here kind of how I got a little close to the tree.
This has actually happened from the very beginning, and we probably should have had it fixed initially, but it hasn't gotten any worse, which is nice.
Thankfully.
But our awning is coming away at the top there. We have these lines on the inside of the awning here, and this actually, we recently cleaned this. I know it doesn't look like it, but we did recently clean it. It just has these permanent kind of discolored lines on the underside of it. Another thing with our awning is that recently we've discovered it's hard to close it.
Yeah, see, so it's supposed to sit flush up against there, and you can see that it's not.
We just have to make sure that we have 2 people putting the awning in.
This is the outside hinge part of our outdoor kitchen. And whenever we open and close it, it's rubbing on this. And so those 2 spots right there just had all the paint and everything scraped right off of them. One other silly little thing that drives me crazy. So this is our end cap bumper, which is our end bumper. It's great because this is where I put one of our long sewer hoses, is right on the inside of this. And there's supposed to be these two bumper caps that go over the top of it so that nothing can fall out. because we may have had a sewer hose hanging out to like here going down the highway before. Whatever. Who hasn't, right? So, but the bumper caps keep falling off. I've replaced them a couple of times now. I have a tendency to take like black duct tape and just tape it over now whenever we're going on a longer trip to make sure the sewer hose doesn't come out. We got into the spot where I had to back up kind of this tall, steep road as we were going way up trying to find a boondocking spot. And Kristen thought I had hit one of the jacks, and I totally did. I backed it up, and unfortunately, they were all the way up, of course, but it didn't matter. It caught a ditch, and didn't know it at the time, but found out later. Here's where you can see it. You can see just by looking at the side of it that it's totally bent. It still goes up and down, but it shakes really bad, so it's totally gonna need to get replaced.
We don't have a walkable roof. It's something that we gave up because we have a half-ton truck, and it shaves a ton of weight
that's
off.
That's why this trailer is an ultralight. I mean, essentially.
We'll be taking Wendy in to have the roof conditioned and the caulking checked out on that, just to make sure that that's all good
nothing
still.
leaks and nothing has, or I would get up there. There are conditioners that you can buy for the rubber that go around the slides, then we do those treatments.
Yeah.
But otherwise, not a whole lot of stuff on the outside for a year's worth of travel. Things that you would kind of assume. Where we really see the changes is on the inside. So let's tour around here and we'll show you what we got.
The biggest wear and tear in the entire rig is right behind me through this door. But I must warn you, it is not pretty.
Just prepare yourselves.
Ready?
Yes. Oh, God. Oh, this is what happens in here on a daily basis. Right? This is what it looks like in reality.
Real life. This is why there's wear and tear in here, is because this is where our children live when it's raining outside.
Yeah, like it has been for like the last week.
One of the reasons we did not paint the kids' wardrobe is because of how much wear and tear that it receives. So this is like chipping off the wood because this is the ladder up into Ethan's bed, and so there's a lot of this wear and tear. And I'm afraid if I painted it, the paint would just chip off. It would just come right off. It wouldn't look good. You'll notice there's a missing door. It's outside. It's glued back together. It's ready.
Being repaired.
Yeah, it's being repaired, ready to put back on. I think that Ethan, whether he realized he was doing it or not, was using it to help him get up into his bed, because this is his ladder, and when the door's open, they're playing their video games. It's like kind of easy to hang on to. And one day it just completely broke. It left a piece of wood about a strip about that big, and the rest of it cracked right off. If you saw in our RV Angel video where we found out that we had a loose wire up here, that's definitely some wear and tear from all of the miles that we've driven. Just the wire shook loose. And then we have replaced this already. We have patched it, but unfortunately the nails were not quite long enough, and so Chloe grabbed onto it as she was coming up the ladder and just pulled it right off, so now we get to repair it again. That is all I can handle in that room right now. Our doors have settled funky, and every time we move, we get to a new place, it's like another door has settled a little bit.
So you can see how it's kind of tighter up there, but then it's sort of loose. Quite a bit wider.
Yeah,
and this one's the same. You can see where it catches the super tight up there, but down here at the bottom, it's got more loose. So it's just bowed.
No, the good thing about it is that sometimes Chloe can't get out now.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, we painted any nicks and stuff we had in the wood. We painted over recently, and you can check out our RV renovation video up here, because this looks completely different than it did when we left.
It's so much nicer.
Yeah. Our refrigerator has held up great. We haven't had any issues with it. Our freezer, we have defrosted it a couple times recently. We actually had to defrost it because it had like a 2-inch thick ice like wall in the back of it, and things were not freezing. Yes.
Yeah. So if you've got carpet in your rig, don't do it.
Just don't. These trim pieces, they tend to bow and come undone, unstuck. I think they're just glued there anyways, so they do come unstuck, and then we have to just fix them. Some of you have asked how our paint has held up. It definitely gets nicks in it, and we are going to have to touch it up. But I wouldn't trade it for the dark wood that we had before, because it makes it look so much brighter in here. You'll see that the paint is just totally chipped away, and like up here, like you could peel it off.
Yeah.
And
part of it's because it's a latex base.
Yeah. Our new IKEA table has taken a tumble a few times on the road and bashed up against our cabinet here, so that needs to get touched up. We haven't figured out a way to secure it really well, so occasionally if we're on a really bumpy road, it does shift, and it usually ends up shifting right to there. The air conditioner has held up really well for us.
For being a single AC unit that's vented through the ceiling for a 37-foot trailer, it cools this place down to the 60s.
We haven't had an extended period of time that the temperatures were outrageously high that we'd had, like we haven't put it to the test as far as, you know, 100-degree weather. We haven't experienced that yet. Yeah. I hope we don't experience that.
Right. At the end of our Phoenix contract, before we went to Reno, the heater went out. And man, was it ever a debacle. Now, it was all under warranty. We got it fixed. It has been working great since then. There's not been any issues. One thing, that's how I turn it on and off and stuff now, is I just take the faceplate off and no one knows the difference. And the kids can't turn it on. Okay. You'll see the blinds are starting to separate from the wall or from the ceiling here. This is tough. This is just normal. Those are the original blinds that came, you know, with the rig. It's just bouncing out and going around. They have started to separate off the wall like that. So what I do is I take a little bit of wood glue and I stick it up in the hole and let it dry a little bit, and then screw right back up into it. And usually that secures it just fine.
Strobe light. 50% of our lights are doing this, which makes it very dark in here.
We talked to some repair folks, and they think it's just because they're going bad.
Which we were surprised because we had a brand new rig, and they said that that's actually very common. Yeah. And they're LED lights. Which is weird because they should last for a long time.
Yeah, LEDs are supposed to last forever.
Both bathrooms have strobe lights now. Yeah. This one, it's starting to do it. Yeah. This one does it. 2 of our main lights do it. The kids' room does it. Yeah. So at night it gets very dark. It's very tedious. And it's very hard for me to cook because the lights that are right here in the kitchen where I cook are all doing it. Are all the ones that do it. The window that's like this in the kids' room, which we're going to spare you because you saw the kids' room, is right next to Aaron's bed. And one time Cinder figured out how to it must have been sitting out like this, her booty, opened the door and all the way through so the window was flapping, and then she proceeded to stick her head through the screen. She got this, she went right, she didn't go through it because she didn't come all the way out. She got caught because we saw her on the other side with her head all out the window. And what are you guys doing? The nice thing is these screens have this like rubber sealing on the inside of it, which makes them very easy to repair so long as you don't actually slit the screen. Excuse you, Wendy. That's the water pump that we have for her. Now, something very bad has been happening with the water pump. I think I know what it is. This one is our freshwater tank. Now, freshwater tank, it's saying that it's a third full. That's interesting because we're plugged into water right now and it shouldn't be. Our freshwater tank is filling and it's backfilling through the water pump. So after doing some research and talking to several people, what we all think is happening is that the check valve, which is supposed to kind of keep those two separate, the two connections, is not working properly. And what happens is if we don't pay attention to it, it eventually will fill up to the point that it starts to overflow. It will also leak back in to where the housing is for the water pump and gets on the floor and gets into the basement and sometimes even on the inside floor on Kristen's side of the bedroom, which is a pretty big deal if we don't catch it. We remedy it easily enough by shutting off the city water connection and just running the pump until the tank is run dry again. I think what happened is that we had a water pressure regulator valve. We had one of the fancy ones with the gauge that you could dial it in, and it broke at some point in time and I didn't realize it, and we hooked up to some high pressure sources with that thing being broken, and I think what happened is we had too much pressure with our inside of our rig and it messed up that check valve. We have a warranty. It's gonna get taken care of, but we just need to take the time to call someone out here to take care of it. This is real life. Welcome to the bathroom. The most used place in our rig. The top of the toilet, because it's plastic, it looks disgusting. It's like just scraped and scratched. No amount of scrubbing will get this clean. Like it just looks like this all the time, and so it looks disgusting. The other problem is when you sit on it.
That wasn't not a spontaneous pee moment, just so everyone knows.
I did not just have an accident, I swear. I filled the bowl full of water and bleach because it really stunk in here. Because our daughter has a really hard time remembering to put water in the bowl first before she goes number 2. Okay, so this is what I was trying to show you. It rocks, and we're a little nervous about the rocking, but
I don't know. If it's broken or
it's
what.
really loose.
You got loose stools. Gross.
This is gonna have to get fixed because I do not want to be in here the day that the thing finally breaks.
We thought it pertinent also to talk a little bit, just briefly, about the vehicles. First of all, let's talk about the truck. So the truck is in terms of maintenance, I've had to have it in a few times already. I have an extended warranty on it. I'm very happy that I have an extended warranty on it. Gosh, the interior.
Stop.
My kids have ruined the interior of my truck. I think that's just because we have one gigantic long road trip life.
On the van, we have not had any, knock on wood, any reason to take it into the shop at all in the past year. We have replaced the tires. We were going to have to replace the tires anyways because we hadn't done it since we purchased the van. We do get oil changes in every contract that we, like, every area that we are staying at for 3 months, we just go ahead and get an oil change, mostly because we travel thousands of miles in between each contract. Visited a total of 21 states in the last 12 months and traveled 10,500-ish miles.
It's a decent size ish too.
Yeah.
Because that's not including like going to work and that kind of, that's just
not commute miles.
Like places that we've been and stuff. So there's considerably more miles than even that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. We love having you here. We hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you're first time here, thank you for showing up. And hit the like button and hit that bell.
Subscribe.
We hope that you guys have enjoyed our 1-year wrap-up series so far. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the series up here because we talk about our finances, our monthly budget, some of the questions people have, we answered that.
Stay tuned. And again, thanks for being here.
We can't wait to show you the Pacific Northwest too. We gotta get back to that someday.
That's right.